that were submitted, sir. We didn't exclude anybody, we included all of them.
And these are in addition to the ones we already have, Region 20 and the by board, right?
Correct.
So that was my clarification question. We're not gonna be limited just to these individuals or businesses.
Well, probably so, if we don't get any other
If
bid.
we don't get other bids.
Well, I mean, aside from the buy board or Region 20, right? If we approve these, we cannot buy these supplies through Region 20 or the buy board. Is that what we're saying here?
No, it's just another option, right?
Yes, it's another option.
Don't they have to?
I hear the administration, I hear from the administration.
So these are the bids that were submitted for this board meeting. So these are the ones that we are submitting for approval, but we're not limited to these.
Okay, all right.
Any more discussion? If not, I need a motion to approve as presented, and that's your recommendation that we.
Correct, that we approve.
So move.
Motion by Mr. Bonilla,
I'll second.
second by Melissa Guerrero. Questions? Concerns? Not a vote. 6-5,
I'm not voting yes.
ma'am?
I'm not voting yes.
Okay, so you're voting against or abstaining?
Well, what's the count? How many yes?
We have 5.
No, how many voted
I'm
yes?
abstaining, Ray.
Okay, I understand.
I'm abstaining.
So we got
The 1, 2, 3, 4,
4 yes, okay.
abstention, and
Or 1-1, or
against?
Well, I'm gonna say why in a minute, but I'd like to have the opportunity.
Well, yes, go ahead.
I don't think as a board member, we should benefit from our family making money on our position. So I'm gonna vote no, for the record,
But you voted no. Okay, so we have 4, 1 abstention, 1 against and 1 abstention. So the motion passes 4, 1. Oh, let's see. What's that? Okay, item C, action discussion to approve the revised administrative professional pay schedule for the 21-20 school year as authorized at the August 23rd, 2021 special meeting with Riones.
And so for this specific agenda item, I will ask HR Director, Mrs. Garcia, for a brief presentation.
Okay, the administrator, the rationale behind this is that the administrator pay scale for the 21-22 school year be approved for the administrators for the 21-22 school year. In order to provide equity between the teacher pay tables that were approved on August 23rd and the administrator pay tables that were also approved on that night. Because as far as the administrator pay tables, all campus principals were grouped together in AP 5. All district administrators were grouped together in AP 6. But throughout that, it created inequity between the teacher pay table and the administrator professional pay table. We had a lot of teachers who were getting paid significantly more than our newer administrators because of service years. So we are coming to you to ask you that you consider either pay table A or pay table B to help create that equity between the pay tables.
The A is the one that we already approved,
Correct.
and the B,
I have a question. I thought we had approved also that the junior high principal and the elementary assistant principals be moved to AP4 and they're still at AP3. Why was that change not made?
which ones?
It was the assistant principals and, I don't know who else.
No, those were not moved. The only ones that were moved was the principals to, I think, A5,
Correct.
Yeah,
I thought
that we could keep all the principals together,
Mr. Ramirez presented this to us. I have it last meeting.
but we
And the
never
vice-
approved it, that was given to us as informational item.
But he said he was. I think we need to look at the minutes. I think there's some type of confusion.
Right,
Yeah.
Because I think all the assistant principals were gonna be AP4.
AP4. What moved them? And I even asked him specifically, he goes, yes.
Go back and check, because, I mean, I don't remember, I know he gave us that, but it was a proposed thing, I mean, if we need to bring it back, I mean, that's fine. I have a couple of things that I wanna mention here. I really don't have any problem with the A4, the A5, and the A6, because you guys are saying, okay, look, some of the teachers are kind of making more money than some of the administrators. In A1, in AP1, those people are still gonna be, I think we're giving them, what was the amount of raise that we're gonna give them?
For which one? For
A1,
AP1.
we're looking at, not cha- if we look at A, at what was already approved, it stays the same.
yeah, but in B,
And B, what we did is we took, the quickest fix was to take AP7, move it down to AP6, AP6 to AP5, AP5 to AP4, and so on and so forth. And in the end, we eliminated what was AP1. That's on B, that's pay table B. To help increase that pay just a little for the AP1 administrators, and to start that possible phase one.
so what would be the starting raise, for example, of a first-year teacher under AP1?
Teacher or?
No, the administrators, AP, what would be their daily rate?
For, at pay step 0?
AP1, what would be their daily rate? Only que comenzaran on year one.
Year one, $212.54, that would be their daily rate.
Okay, and how much is the teacher making at that amount?
I don't have that pay
In the
table
first,
with me,
let's hear in the,
but the pay table for our teachers was starting at 44,000 even, and then increasing 700, so it would have been 44,700.
so there's people here, in one, the AP1s, they would be making, 212, and the teachers, since we give them 44, 700, they would making a daily rate up to 39, which is about,
AP, I'm lost, Sarah, can you come help me over here? Where do you get the 212? Where are you getting the 212?
That's 202.
Uh-huh,
So
oh,
school
22 days,
uh-huh.
uh-huh.
Yeah.
But see, where did you get the,
He's looking at,
12.
at B.
I'm looking at the pay scale that we approve for the teachers.
okay,
So,
Right, am I supposed to be looking at that?
right there.
okay, and but what's the daily rate then?
B,
Right there.
I still can't find it.
Daily rate is gonna be this one, $212.54.
And these were, what, and why did we have to change the page?
Because this is what we are proposing goes away, the old
Okay, and this
AP1.
is the new one.
A goes, if we approve B, A goes away, right?
No, I have,
The old AP1 goes away.
let's see, there's two,
B1.
what's the difference between this one and this one? I just got these right now, that's why I'm,
They were in your packet, since Friday.
no, I just got these right now.
The revised ones, because we had to add, 240 days, the second page,
Oh, okay.
and 192 in the AP, where is it, AP2, right here.
Ms. Garcia, I don't have any problems with, because I mean, I read through this Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I don't have a problem in the, going to the B, but in under AP1, I know some of those people, I mean, like, I'm looking at where we have people that have completed their degree. They have a teaching certification. in A1, I mean, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, Chief Segura, you can go get your certification in what, 1 year? As a chief of police, you can get your certification in a year, your certification for policeman.
Policemen, yes, we have to go to the
Okay.
academy.
So I know, I mean, they have 1 year, so I'm not, I don't know about the accountants, how many years took, the main transportation supervisor, I don't know, I mean, if she has to be. So on that, it's not my concern, there's two categories that I have a concern, and that's AP2, we have, degree people there, and as a matter of fact, I mean, we have some of the instructional coaches that would be making, I think, if we approve B, they would be making minus 14 cents less than the teacher. Plus, I mean, they're doing all this extra duties, and it seems like, I remember when we started that program, we would give them the teaching salary, whatever it was. We were giving them a stipend of $300 or $400. But right now, I mean, I see that, I mean, that A2 and A3, and maybe on the assistant principals, también, I mean, they would be 1 cent under the teaching pay rate, so I don't know, I mean, we can correct it somehow. Once we get to A4 to the athletic band director, well, we're making 14 cents above, and then the principals, 29 cents above, and then central office would be 45 cents above. But in A2 and A3, I do see a little problem because they're getting less by doing more than the regular teachers. I don't know, I mean, I had called Ms. Carlos to see if, and I know she was busy, see if she could bring us like another recommendation for those two. Because I don't think it's right, I mean, that, again, I'm gonna go back to instructional coaches, I mean, making less than a teacher, they could be making the same if they were in the teacher, in the teacher pay schedule, plus a bonus that we would, así se lo damos antes. But right now, I mean, you got the instructional coach, como people making less than the teachers at that pay scale, plus they have to do the extra duties of instructional coach.
How many days do instructional coaches work in Sunday? How many days?
212.
They're 212? Are they?
Now, they'll probably make more, but with a less pay scale.
So I'm just wondering, how many days are they 212, the instructional coaches? They're not 212, are they?
Yes, they're just.
Yes.
They work 15 more days than the teachers.
One thing that we.
15 more days?
1-5.
That's not 212.
One,
212 it is, because
187 a teacher?
a teacher makes 187, these people make 212.
Are they 202 or 212?
212.
The ICs are 212.
Okay.
one thing that we could do is move the APs, assistant principals to AP4, as you know, y'all have suggested, and then moving the ICs into AP3.
That would be,
Comment, Ray, can I speak?
Yes.
to you, or are you finished or are you still?
well, I'm still not.
I wanna,
Go
well,
ahead.
it's a discussion, we're having a
I
discussion.
just want us to be fair because, I mean,
Okay,
make sure, I mean, even if even, I mean, if we keep the AP2 and 3 at the level of the teachers, I mean, that would be fine versus them making less money than the teacher on the pay scale. You get what I'm saying?
Like to move them into the teacher pay scale, but then pay them at that daily rate times their.
No, I mean, we
days.
could, instead of, como aquí que está A2, que dice minus 14, well, I mean, instead of making it a minus, que quede plus 14, or que quede lo mismo que está ganando.
So are you saying add 14 cents to AP2?
I'm saying that, for example, if you have this teacher that has 18 years of experience, this instructional coach that has 6 years of experience, and we look what the teacher at that same years of experience, that they make the same. And
No
it-
way that would be possible, so under our pay scales, if I may. There's no way that could happen because, as we just noted, the teachers get paid at, was it 187 or 192, which one was it?
87.
187, and the instructional coaches at 212, so if you have 11 and 11, the pay scale's gonna be different.
The pay scale will be lower for
The coaches.
we're looking at the daily rate.
We can consider putting them back at 187 days as well.
Well, we could
But the
do
contract has
that,
already been approved.
but it's approved.
I just wanted to make a comment that when we got them, I was very surprised because I thought that everything was already approved. We approved the pay scales presented by Mr. Ramirez before he left, and we approved the budget. So I don't know how now we're looking at the scales. Another thing, and I just want to say, when we started working on the budget, the scales and whatever, I know that our main focus was the teachers, okay? Because the comment and la plática around campus was, we're losing teachers left and right, everybody's leaving, we need to keep our teachers, whatever, so we really put our foot down and said, we're gonna pay the teachers. So that's what we did, but now we're hearing all this other chatter about salaries, and everybody works really hard around here.
Well, I mean, well.
Let me just finish what I was saying.
Finish.
Thank you. So I really think if all this is like new information, and we really need to take a look at it because, you know, what's being proposed in B, I mean, you're looking at a lot of money. And I thought that we had already approved Ramirez's, scales. And people that are getting raises in Ramirez's scales, it's almost like double on scale B. We're doubling the money. It's almost doubling the money. And I agree with you where you're saying you took, from Ramirez, you took like you said earlier, AP3 and you put it in AP2 and AP4, what was it? You put it in AP5? AP3? AP4, you put in AP3? Oh, you're not right.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that, and I requested some information. Thank you, Ms. Jonas, for providing it for me. I'm just saying, okay, we did exactly what everybody asked of us. You know, pay the teachers. Pay the teachers because they're leaving. We gotta pay the teachers. So now that we pay the teachers, all these concerns are coming up that, oh, we're making almost the same, oh, we have more duties. And I don't want to bring anybody down or anything like that, but I think we had already approved the budget. I don't know why now this is coming back to us to try and approve it again, or how's it gonna work?
The conversation at the time had been to provide the equity between the two pay tables. Initially, I believe we had even discussed to reach out to TASB and have them work on that equity for us. Unfortunately, TASB, since we had already approved our pay tables, TASB kind of said no.
And I remember that we spoke about equity, but we were talking about the principals and the vice principals. They were all, you know, out of whack, right? And we had talked about how TASB had said that we could align them more or less, and that's how come we had talked about putting them under AP4, those vice principals, and then the high school principals and AP5. I'm just a little confused.
I remember, no,
And a lot of new information to soak in.
when we approved the budget, Mr. Garcia, Director, Mr. Ramirez, that we would come back with this.
Right.
I mean, I don't know, you were here,
Yeah.
but, because, I mean, there's some teachers, I mean, especially on 1, 2, and 3, are gonna be making more money than these people, and the only thing that I'm saying, well, at least give them the same, if you've been with the district 15 years, I mean, well, we're not gonna bring the teacher salary down. I'm glad that we gave them, but on some of the people, and I'm not gonna mention names, I mean, there were classroom teachers that, or now, I mean, I'm gonna mention the instructional coach. I mean, the instructional coach are making about 14 cents less than the teachers. And to me, I mean, I don't know when the instructional coach became administrators. I remember when we started, I mean, there were supposed to be teachers, whoever we hired, and we would give them a stipend of maybe 3,000, 4,000, but somehow we put them with the administrators, and now there's people that probably they go back and say, I'm not gonna be instructional coach, I'm gonna go back and maybe get a teaching job. They're gonna be making more money.
I'm sorry, Mr. Garcia is joining the meeting.
Okay.
I'm just saying, and I agree with you, but not all of them,
They-
not all the instructional coaches are making more than teachers. It's just a few.
And I know an administrator that is now making less as an administrator than they would be as a teacher with more days to work. From 187 to 212 and making less money.
But that's what I'm trying to say.
That would have been remedied if we had done what we said we were gonna do, move them from AP3 to AP4. It would have been remedied.
And that can still be remedied.
Yeah, that's what we're discussing. I mean, how can we help? I mean, because I mean, and that's one of the reasons that I requested that when we approved the administration salary, I said, I mean, why do we separate the elementary principals from the high school principals? Put them all together. I mean, the high school principal might have games or whatever, but the elementary has a lot, so that's why we put them
And we
together.
voted on that. We voted to make them AP4s because of that.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, the only one right now that's affecting us is
So this is an
an
amendment,
A3.
It's what?
this isn't an amendment? If you already voted, I wasn't
We've
here.
already voted.
This isn't an amendment?
This was already voted
For
on.
example, Melissa, your daughter would be making 1 cent less than a teacher at her level, so. I mean, to be honest,
But more days. Not any less,
Like
than
to-
4 days, 15 more days.
Clarify that I did have the opportunity, because we've been going back and forth also with the request that was made during the August 23rd board meeting. And I did have the opportunity to visit with Mr. Ramirez this afternoon to make sure that we understood the intent of the proposals that he had presented to you all. And so what essentially is happening is that as per the proposals that were made by the board, as far as the teacher salary tables, all of that has been approved. It's gone before the board, and that has been taken care of to make the salaries compatible so that we can compete externally with the other school districts across the region. Internally, what is happening is exactly what Mr. Espinosa is saying. We're having some high-end teachers making more money than some of the newer administrators on the different tables, depending, and you know, where they fall, depending on their duties and responsibilities. So, and then when the board moved the principals to AP5, that created another set of inequitable salary structures within the AP5 for the professional salary scales. So as a discussion that was had at the board table was that we had to take it back, look back at the scales and trying to create equity within the tables. And so in discussion with Mr. Ramirez before he left, the conversation was the easiest way was to flush down, or what we call flush down the salary tables down. So we would take the existing salary table 7 from last school year and make that a table 6, make 6 a table 5, which is essentially what you're seeing. You're seeing the salary, professional scales scale back 1 table so that we can create equity for all of the different positions. We are not considering very specific personnel. We're considering positions, the duties and responsibilities of the people that hold those positions so that we can create equity within the professional tables. The teacher tables are set. Those are equitable. We did exactly what the board asked us to do. Now what we have is inequity in the professional tables. And what we're trying to do is to create that equity as best as we can without shifting the tables too much. We've already taken into account the buffer, you know, financially, what is this going to cost and can we afford it? We have already made that we reserved that money because we knew that it was gonna take us between $200,000 and $400,000 to change the professional table. So in my conversation with Mr. Ramirez today, just so that we understood the intent of what he had initially started at this board table, this is what he had in mind for the professional tables.
Who has in mind?
Mr. Ramirez, that was the intent.
That's what we were discussing.
That was the discussion.
This is an indicator on the first rating, and I want everybody to make more money, but all of this has to be in ratio with what we're spending on the kids,
Correct.
what we're spending on teachers, what we're spending, and that could slam you.
One thing, I mean, that I hear, I mean, a lot is, and I know that we gave this year one of the biggest raises that we ever given.
Correct.
And sometimes they say, well, look at the principals, look at the central office administrators. They're making 82,000. They don't realize that they're working 187, and you guys, the administrators, are working 226, which is almost 3 months. And that's why it looks like you're making a lot of money, because you're working a lot. And that's what I'm saying. I mean, and like I'm saying, I don't have any problem with 4, 5, and 6, but like I said, I mean, in 2, I mean, they're making 14 cents less. In the assistant principals, we're making 1 cent less.
And working more days?
And working more days. I mean, it looks good because we're gonna be given more days, if I see no más, but if you look at the pay, at the scale on the number of years, they're making more money because they're working about 50 more days, not because they're administrators.
And I thought, my daughter, she compared, salary now to herself, what she would be making right now as a teacher with 7 years' experience. It's more money with less days as a teacher. But we had said, that's what we had said, we're gonna move them to AP4.
The words equity and inequity came to play ahorita, right? We've been struggling for a while. So I don't see a problem, when we gave the raises to our teachers because it was much needed. I don't see a problem in with the principals because they work along with the teachers and they have to keep everything in line. But as far as administrators here at the central office, that's where I'm kind of conflicted. Inequity. Irma, when was the last time you were in a classroom?
2001.
2008. Okay. So my question is now, is it the same back then as it is now?
No.
Very different, right? Very different.
Not the technology.
But everything's different. So without teachers, we don't have administrators, we don't have schools. So, when was the last time we had exemplary scores? So for me, it's hard to give raises to administrators and central office when we haven't really done much. That's my conflict. I mean, we got teachers leaving left and right because they haven't gotten paid. And our scores are low. Been low for a while. So what do we do? I mean, where's the, and what about our students? Our students are not receiving the education that they need. That's inequity right there.
Let me, and you're right, Mr. Mata, we have not given the teachers the money they deserve, but this year we gave them. And to me, I'm gonna be honest with you, I think that the principals are the most important administrators in the school district. Because, I mean, that's what you were saying, I mean, or kids learning, exemplary schools, this, that. But I feel it's only right también, I mean, we're gonna give something to somebody. I mean, so I don't know, I mean, you wanna table it, look at it again, or?
Good. And Mrs. Garcia, it's still, I think we need to discuss it more. And only because I really believe that our scales were already approved, because some people that are on B are getting a raise on Ramirez's proposal that we approved already. They're still getting a raise. Everybody's getting a raise.
On which one? On B?
On the tables that we approved when we approved the budget.
Good.
And I know that we approved, it's on, we gotta go back and look, because I know we approved that, but principal fee moved to
And I'll go
AP4.
back and I'll look at the minutes on that one.
I mean, he even gave us a table. He gave us what he was there.
Yeah, but that's different from what we got now, the A's and B.
This is what we based it on.
But this is what, yeah, our decision was based on what he presented. This is what he presented that day.
Well, I mean, let's table it. I mean, we can look at that. We can look what was proposed and I mean,
Another thing, I mean, how is it gonna affect us moving forward since we already approved the budget?
we can amend it and we can amend the budget, give whatever everybody deserves that bring in here. As I'm gonna tell my main thing, I see a lot of teachers and I'm glad, I mean, that they're making more money. But with this that we did, which is good, comes some teachers are not.
That's right. Can salaries even be changed after you've approved the budget? I don't think,
And
yeah.
as long as you make an amendment. Well, let's go ahead and table it and then,
I don't know. I don't.
Mr. Spinoza,
yes, sir.
yeah, I just wanted to comment that, for the people at central office, we can't punish those that are in those positions at all. And the way I see it is, you go to any surrounding district or neighboring district and you bring up their position titles, I guarantee you, some of those positions are 100,000. No comparison to what we pay. None. None.
Two and A3, that's a little problem. I mean,
Okay.
there are
Let me look at this.
people, A1s, people like the chief of police. I mean, get them in mind.
Okay, I'll look.
Okay, this
Motion
time,
that we table,
we have a motion to table it, second.
Why don't we get something from the attorney on giving raises after the budget was approved?
okay, so we have a motion and we have a second.
Second,
I mean,
second to, table it,
Table?
yeah, second at table and with,
and Briones,
I will
check with,
I will,
Commissioner Cruz
yes.
and see, I mean, if we can,
Are we working backwards, can we move forward? I mean.
Yes, I'll check with the attorney.
If I may, I know we haven't taken a vote yet, but this is gonna be my third completed year on the board, and since the time that myself, Mr. Garcia, Mr. Guerrero came on, we have made some progress in the area of equitable and justifiable increases in salaries. We work hard on the teachers. I believe they benefited twice. Paraprofessionals, both maintenance and our teacher assistants. And it's kind of hard to do everything at once because we are limited with funding. And there are some legal issues involved in funding. So I guess our next step would be to work on equitable administrative salaries because they are important. The teachers are first. I agree with Mr. Cruz. Everybody else, and because I've been to tons of workshops and I've heard it over and over and over. I'm sure you guys have too. Everybody else is support staff to the teachers. Okay? From the janitorial service to the superintendent. They're all support staff of the teachers. And so they are important. So we've dealt with most aspects of our family here, our district family. So I believe maybe we do need to focus now on our administrators.
The good thing is, como te digo, en eso, it has helped, because, I mean, I've been comparing the starting rate for teachers with La Park, Carrizo, and some of the areas. And when we approved, we're a little bit higher now on beginning salaries, which is good. So, any more discussion? If not,
But I have one more comment.
Okay.
When we do that, we're gonna be studying it or whatever, I mean, maybe we have to go about it as an individual basis. position by position, or like Emma said, because, like I said, on what we had approved, everybody was already getting a raise. I mean, it might have not been a significant raise, but it was still a very decent raise.
It's something to look at.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, we'll discuss that later. Motion, everybody in favor? The table,
Oh, table, yeah.
6-0. Mr. Garcia,
Yes.
7-0. Okay, now we go to, where are we? D, discussion action to approve creating Get-Will position SEL case manager as per the program changes approved by the previous administrations. Veronis?
Mrs. Garcia will also make a brief presentation on this position.
Okay.
Previously, this position was titled the Parent Liaison Truant Officer. We're recommending that this position be titled the Social Emotional Learning Case Managers in order to meet the requirements of a board-approved program change and an ESSER application requirements.
The child, same duties,
A little bit more duties.
a bit more?
Same person or just or?
No, some were reassigned into truant officer.
So under Dr. Gonzalez, the position of the truant officer was closed. The position was closed. So we are no longer calling it parent liaison to truant officer. We created under ESSER 3, a case managing team, because it is a requirement of that funding. And so they're primarily the same staff. It's primarily the same staff. We did add the coordinator, the coordinator, her title changed as well, but it's the same team doing, approaching student needs in a very holistic way. And so that's what they have been doing to date. So really what it is just program change. And so because it's.
Same two individuals.
Same individuals, yes.
I believe we got two, right?
Actually, we have 5. It's the same
We
team.
didn't combine, we didn't eliminate?
No, it's the same
People that
team.
were there.
Yes,
that's
they just
correct.
have a different.
Same, okay.
They have a different title, and I believe that one of the positions is, they are going to be in in PA3.
So we're within our legal parameters?
Oh, yes. We're just, the title changed because it was closed, so we had to create a different title under ESSER so that we could pay them under ESSER.
That's a lot of stuff for a paraprofessional.
So, that's your recommendation?
Yes.
That we approve, motion by, Melissa
Second.
Guerrero, second by Nora Guerrero. Questions? Vote? 7-0. We move to, E, discussion action to approve the agreement between Sharon'sville Mathematics Curriculum and CrystalCity ISD. Ms. Briones?
That the Board of Trustees approve the agreement between Sharon Wells Math Curriculum and CrystalCity ISD. This is an ongoing contract. Services are already being provided, and so is training, so it does need board
So
approval.
it's just the
The
contract.
contract, correct.
It's an ongoing thing, Ms. Briones?
Yes, we've had it for 3 years already. Yes.
How effective is she? Because
Difficult to assess the effectiveness of it, Mrs. Guerrero, because of COVID. But the last set of assessments that we have asked for the campus administrators, they were seeing some progress within the math department. So the recommendation is that the board approve the agreement.
We have a motion, a second, all in favor?
Who made the motion?
who made the motion?
You made it.
I didn't?
No.
I motion to approve.
Okay, I will.
I second.
Ya la hizo unida, Mr. Mata. You have made the second, right?
No.
All in favor?
For the previous one, right, yes.
Okay.
This one.
F, discussion action to approve the,
Garcia vote on that one?
he voted 7-0. Discussion action to approve the proposal for ECM today for the scanning and electronic document management of students and employees' records. Ms. Briones?
The recommendation before the board is that the Board of Trustees approve ECM today for the scanning and electronic document management for student and employee records. This is our staff and student information, old records, transcripts, and things of that nature that we need to upload because we can't keep them paper documents. So This is a company that would be doing the uploading for us.
How old are these documents?
They're not too old, within 5 years.
Isn't it 7 for special ed?
For special ed, yes,
Is it for special ed too?
yes.
What's the cost on it? I think 5,000.
800 now?
5,800.
The recommendation is to approve it. I think Melissa, you made a motion second.
Second,
Sonia, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
7-0. G, discussion action to approve the purchase of Apple devices for students use at the secondary campuses.
The recommendation is that the Board of Trustees approve the purchase of 90 iMac computers, 2 Mac Mini, and 5 MacBooks from Apple Inc. for student use.
This is replacing Chromes or
No, this is in addition to.
in addition, and the administrators of that campus.
Correct, at the secondary, Fly Junior High and high school.
Did you get input from them?
I believe they were the ones that gave Mr. Guajardo their inventory, their needs.
So both of you, Ms. Ravazos and Mr. Varao, had some input in this?
Excuse me, sir?
Did you have some input in this?
In
The Apple devices?
that's not ours, sir. The,
For high school.
oh, I'm sorry, the Mac devices.
The bank devices, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, it's DTE. Yes, sir, yes,
Yeah.
sir.
that's what I want to know. So this is CTE?
It's in the lab, they're gonna stay in the classroom.
Correct.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Okay, I move.
I'll second.
Discussion?
Yeah, what
I
happens,
have a question, how soon do we get these?
what happens to the outdated computer? Do you still keep them or?
If they can be refurbished, Mr. Fernandez, maybe you can answer for Jesse, what happens to the old computers?
Usually, if they're not serviceable anymore, we recycle them. If not, we repurpose them for something else, another classroom, perhaps another lab, maybe.
And Mr. Garcia is asking how quickly we're expected to get these devices.
No telling. They're not- Everything's
Yeah.
in back order.
We're so back ordered.
No telling.
So in case we have to shut down a campus or the entire district, I mean, do we have something for the kids currently?
They already have their lab.
Yes. We have laptops for every student,
This is for a classroom.
yeah,
This is
Oh,
for,
this is for the classrooms?
for a classroom.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Garcia, and I've been hearing that practically all the kids have their laptops already. Everybody expedited,
Right.
that issuing of
Yeah,
laptops. For
my-
that matter, yeah.
My 13-year-old has his, and he called me one day to take it to school.
Okay, I need a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Garcia? Okay, 7-0. H, discussion action to approve the purchase of 300 iPads for Dr. Tomas Rivera Elementary students.
The recommendation is that the Board of Trustees approve the purchase of 300 iPads for Dr. Tomas Rivera Elementary students.
Guerrero, you're okay with that?
I need it, sir. We don't.
Yeah, they don't have any.
It doesn't have the device.
Yeah.
So you're fine.
Yes.
Again,
If I may, are they gonna be issued to students or they're in the classroom?
Right now, LDZ gave us all of their old iPads because they have Chromebooks and they're one-to-one to issue those out. So we're gonna start issuing out the old iPads. We don't know when these are going to arrive. So we wanna make sure if we have to go remote, that they have a device at home already.
So it would be one that would be issued to the students?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know.
your recommendation,
The recommendation is the Board of Trustees approve the purchase of 300 iPads for Dr. Tomas Rivera Elementary School.
motion,
So move.
Bonilla, second by Ms. Guerrero. Questions?
Which, Ms. Guerrero?
All in, Nora, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Discussion action to approve the purchase of 165 Busan
What count on H, sir?
670. Discussion action to approve the purchase of 165 Vivo Sonic View boards, interactive panels. Ms. Briones?
The recommendation is that the Board of Trustees approve the purchase of 165 ViewSonic View boards. These are going to be devices that are going to go directly into the campuses and in the classrooms.
Is that gonna cover all the classrooms?
I believe so.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Everything.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
And again, Juan, how much time?
The big of an order, sir, the TVs are 75 inch, so they're huge.
Wow.
I'm not sure how long it's gonna take for us to get them all in. The companies are gonna put it together for us and help us with that process, but still, it's an electronic device, and right now, everything is just so delayed.
Everything is on a delay.
Hoping to get them quickly, for sure. I mean,
Right.
our hope.
I need a motion.
I'll move.
Motion by Melissa Guerrero, second.
A second.
Second by Nora Guerrero. Questions?
Hey, Mr. Mata, is this what you have at the college, sir?
I think so. Yeah, they're very similar. Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
7-0. And I think we're done with the section item. Okay, we're gonna be moving to A, informational discussions, superintendent report, district enrollment, and AD report. Ms. Rones, just give us a brief,
So we have our total enrollment right now, as of Friday, was 1,731. We have been able to recapture about 80 students. We still have about 100 plus to go. We do have a recapture no-show meeting scheduled with the attendance clerks on Friday at 9 to see if we can account for all the others. We do have a handful of kids that are still in quarantine, not enrolled, so we know that that number is affecting us. As far as the enrollment across the district, almost all the campuses are above 90%. Junior high has perhaps the higher numbers as far as attendance is concerned at 94, very close to 95%. So, you know, we do have some students that are in quarantine, so it's affecting our attendance.
let me ask you a question. Do we know per campus, do we have some students that have not enrolled?
Yes, we have a number by campus. I don't have that count with me, but we do. We do, yes.
And so,
The bulk of the students are at junior high and high school.
trying to
Yes.
get them home or have documentation.
The SEO team that's one of their duties and responsibilities is to make contact with these parents.
So we have that deadline where they're not enrolled or accounted for that day. They count.
October 29th, and so that's a date. October 29th is the fall snapshot. So we've recovered almost all of the students.
Yeah. And if they're quarantined or whatever, that won't count against them.
That doesn't count against us.
There was an issue that being dealt at the state level about providing virtual learning for some of these kids. What's right now, where is it standing right now? Are we in the process of getting it for these kids that are?
It's going.
It's already.
We've already started.
Okay, good.
Virtual instruction and remote conferencing.
Any more questions on those two items, or? Okay, we go to discussion on SFE, plan of action. That's the cafeteria
Mr.
people.
Haas? So SFE, this is a request on behalf of the board over an issue that we had with food presentation a few weeks ago. I have been meeting with Mr. Haas. I have also I met with his immediate supervisor. I did meet with the dietitian yesterday. I did notify them that the board had requested a presentation to clarify and explain the food presentation that we all are aware of, the event that happened. So Mr. Haas had requested that we give him presentation time, so it's been awarded to him. So Mr. Haas, if you want to.
Let me just comment. I mean, I know we've been with this program for how long now, with you all?
6 years.
Yeah, and I know from the beginning, I mean, I supported you and everything, but that issue that came, that particular, whatever was on that plate, I mean, got a lot of calls from parents and everything, and that's why we have you here, so that you can let us know what happened and how it won't happen in the future.
First of all, good evening, board president, board members, Ms. Briones.
Vice President?
I'm Javier Romero, by the way. I also work with Matt Hawks and I help him oversee Crystal City. And I was here with Crystal City for 6 years since you started this program. First of all, we want to, on behalf of our company, we want to apologize for, and we take full responsibility for the issue that happened. You know, back in that Monday, September 1st, that we had the issue, we had menu that one of the options was ham and cheese sandwiches. And just, I'm pretty sure most of y'all are aware, we've been having some shortages with a lot of manufacturers, a lot of the product for child nutrition. And, you know, we had, the sliced ham did not come in. The decision was made to use diced ham instead of the sliced ham. And again, you know, we regretfully, you know, we understand the error in judgment. I know it's probably a high stress situation when product is not in and we had to make menu changes at the last minute due to product shortages that we've been having. But again, this is something that's been happening across the board nationwide, especially in child nutrition. You know, we've been having some issues with product. Now, one of the things that we're going to do better, again, like I said, we're going to make sure we have a plan in place when we do have any menu changes or any menu adjustments. And, you know, one thing we want to make sure is that, you know, we are looking with all the manufacturers and trying to get ahead of the game and trying to figure out what is short so we can make the adjustments prior to the product when it does not arrive to the campus. So we're working very closely right now with the manufacturers, but it's been hard for us, and I apologize. I'm not making excuses, but I'm just telling you, we are facing some challenges right now with product. You know, and we take full responsibility for this. You know, again, if we're not gonna, you know, make excuses, but we're taking responsibility for it. You know, and I know we didn't live up to our partnership this month, and we apologize again. You know, we're willing to waive. You know, Matt and I have discussed this before, and we talked to our Vice President Beth Phelan. You know, we would love. You know, we're gonna waive our fees for August. You know, again, I know I'm not saying it's gonna fix the problem, but that's one of the things we're gonna do for the district to, you know, just to live up to the expectations, because these things that are happening is something that, you know, we don't, you know, it's not part of what we do every day. We always try to exceed your expectations. We fell short, you know, and we want to just come here and let you know that, you know, we're going to do our best. And, you know, Matt's going to discuss a little bit of the improvement plans that we have in place that are going to help us hopefully avoid this situation due to the product shortages that we're facing and how we're going to deal with product shortages and menu substitutions to eliminate this from happening again and making product without proper recipes. Okay.
Thank you.
And like Mr. Romero said, I do apologize about the incident. We do take full responsibility for that. Some of the actions that we have already taken is, you know, we've reviewed our process for menu changes, making sure that we make smart decisions when product doesn't come in, so we don't have incidences like this again. We have an area dietitian, like Ms. Brianna said, she was here the last 2 days, did a kind of a compliance review, looked at production records, looked at recipes, menus, substitution procedures. So, you know, she provided some feedback as well, then we'll provide some more feedback to the board as well on that. As well as we've put additional resources on our menu development into Crystal City. We've contacted area dietitians that we have to give support to menu development for this district as well, and to kind of oversee any substitutions that need to be made due to product shortages. And then we're going to put together we started a peer-to-peer mentorship with some other people in the area as well, some other districts that, you know, that excel at different things, and myself and Mr. Romero, you know, mentoring the staff that we have on site. Today we actually did a training. Our dietitian was there with the managers today to kind of start that mentorship and that development with the staff as well. And then moving into, you know, some ongoing things that we're going to try to eliminate these issues in the future. We're going to look at all our shopping lists for our menus and provide those to our vendors a month in advance So hopefully that gives them more time to get product as well. So hopefully, we're more aware of when those shortages are gonna happen and try to head that off. We've updated some inventory procedures to make sure that we have some extra product on hand. So if something does get shorted, we have product that is a suitable substitute for any issues that pop up. And then as well, we are putting together a schedule for more visits from our area dietitian to come in and do some more evaluations, some more compliance reviews, and work and develop the staff and the on-site team as well. And then of course, myself, Mr. Romero, as we come in to visit, that will definitely be a major focus, reviewing the menu options, looking at what's being shorted in inventory processes and staff development, and making sure that we're following all the procedures. And then obviously we're going to continue the mentorship, teaming up the staff here with other staff that we have in the area for constant communication and just constant mentorship and developing them as well. So obviously the next steps, we're going to continue to execute these improvement plans. We're going to closely monitor a lot of the substitutes and try to minimize those as well. And then every time somebody comes on site from the SFE team, they will make sure that they notify the interim superintendent and do a recap if available, whether by email or in person, of their visit. So, she's aware of what's going on in the campuses and how we're doing. So. Questions or?
I have a couple of questions. I have kids that eat at the high school. So they tell me what's going on. I mean, I guess it's been ongoing and just hasn't been noticed because of, we didn't have school for the past, year, maybe year and a half. So, I mean, it's kind of disappointing. And I heard your apology that, it had to take this to make this aware when it's been going on for a while. In addition to that, I'm glad that this came up, and I'm glad you're apologizing to us, but I don't think you owe us the apology. I think it's owed to the students and the parents, because I don't eat there. So I believe that it should be owed to the students and the parents who send their kids to school thinking that they're gonna get, a good meal.
If you like, we can, with the permission of the superintendent, we can put a newsletter together, maybe to send out to parents, a parent newsletter. We would be more than glad to do something like that. Just, again, to notify them of the menu changes, how we fell short on some of the product items, and something kind of give them an understanding on some of the reasons that this might have happened and what we're gonna do to improve it.
That would be greatly appreciated.
I don't know, I should know, but I don't. Do y'all put like a menu in our local paper?
So the menu is actually online on the website. If you go to each individual school website, there's a link for the menu. It takes you to a web page. And then, so they're usually posted a month in advance. Unfortunately, sometimes if product doesn't come in, sometimes that may not get updated. And we can try to either notify principals, notify administration, so we can at least make announcements of different shortages that come up that we're aware of.
Yeah. But to answer the question, no, we don't.
No, it's not in the paper.
So, Garcia, you had a question?
Yes, I got a couple of questions for you guys. How often do both of you come visit randomly throughout the week or the month? I mean, like Mr. Cruz said, Mr. Cruz Mata, I understand that, kids haven't been in school for over a year. But I guess my question to you is, how often do you guys visit down here?
So I try to get here at least 3-4 times a month. I've had other individuals come in as well. Most recently, our area dietitian, she was also down here in April, as well as another dietitian that we had for the company. And then I've had other directors and general managers in the area come out and visit as well to work with the on-site team as well.
So do you guys report there to central office with superintendent, say, hey, we're in town, we're gonna go visit? I mean, how do we know that you guys are coming? Because obviously you guys are going to Central Kitchen or the campus or whatever. I mean, how can we confirm this?
Well, most of the times, Mr. Board President, what we usually do is we try to make it a point to come down to the central office and meet with the superintendent, even just to say hi ask them how they're doing. And I know they're also busy, they don't have time, but we always try to make it a point, at least when I'm out there, they can, you know, it's either myself or Matt are coming down here as often as we can. But, we always try to make it a point to, you know, visit with the superintendents, and just let them know we were here if they have any questions. But, you know, like I said, sometimes they're not here. But one of the other things that we also do when we are in the campus, I know that, you know, and I know some of the principals that are new, but we also meet with the principals if they have any questions or any concerns, you know, whenever they're available.
One last question. I understand that sometimes improvisation has to be there. You gotta improvise. But what was this person thinking when she decided to serve that meal, and what was y'all's reaction to it?
It was actually, you know, it was a poor decision. Obviously, it was made on the fly. I think the logic was, you know, we have this diced ham on site, you know, let's try to do it. Obviously, it was not the right decision. As far as what an individual was thinking, and I can't speak to what they were thinking. I think they were just trying to make it happen. And, you know, I do apologize, and that's definitely, it was the wrong decision.
But one thing like we mentioned earlier, part of the action plan is anytime there is substitutions moving forward, they have to make sure they contact myself or Matt before they make that any substitution, not only to ensure it meets the proper components, but to ensure it's a good product that we're serving to substitute whatever is for it.
I have a question.
Thank you.
I know you're saying that you're putting together a action, but if we have that same manager, she follow the plan and action, or what are you all thinking about the manager that we have right now? Because I have heard some concerns from that person. I mean,
We'll have a vice president, we communicated some of those concerns as well, so we'll let her,
I think that, you know, several comments, and thank you for your time, board members. You know, again, we sincerely apologize about this decision, and it's regrettable for us. With the employee, we've counseled the employee. They're in our SFE disciplinary process in terms of providing feedback, in terms of performance. It is a personnel matter, so I'd rather not go into detail if that's okay. You know, at the will of the board, I really don't want to put this employee's personnel matters, you know, out in the public. And we've talked a little bit more in detail with the interim superintendent about these matters to provide additional detail. Is that reasonable?
well, as long, I mean, because I mean, I've seen a lot of good plan of actions put together, but if the same person is trying to do this plan, it's not gonna work.
So we don't have we don't have a food service administrator anymore, right? So do y'all just go and get with the whole group? Or, I mean, how does that work for y'all? Because didn't y'all get rid of that position, the food service?
It's their representative that does it.
Okay, so y'all plan the menus, you buy the groceries, everything. So it just didn't make the connection with the cooks how you wanted it, right? Put pictures up of the 4 food groups, I don't know.
I think one of the biggest things that happened, there was just a miscommunication on putting out a product that was substandard. That decision should have never been made without prior approval. And that's how we ended up in.
The intent of the sandwich was ham, and it was cheese and sliced ham. The sliced ham wasn't delivered. There was a shortage on sliced ham. So the employee decided to use diced ham. It was a quality diced ham, but it wasn't sliced that normally goes on a ham and cheese sandwich. So that decision is what drove the problem.
Okay, next. And I agree with, you know, Mr. Mata. You don't owe us the apology, but I feel that a newsletter is not gonna be enough because the kids might not get it. But not only our kids, you owe our community an apology, and I feel that the menu and the apology should also, you know, be on the website, the newsletter, but our newspaper as well. Because that sandwich went viral around here, and they didn't deserve it, okay? On, you know, your comment that you said that she tried to make it happen, was it because this is what I heard, that She made it happen because that's what she had to make it happen. And if you're saying that, you know, you have shortages here, shortages there, I mean, you guys knew school was starting. I mean, we approved your contract since the summer, correct? So when did the planning start? I mean, don't you think the ball should have already started rolling? Because this sandwich happened the second week of school. The second week of school, the sandwich happened. So maybe she was working with what she had in the freezer? Did you guys not prepare her? Because one, we had been asking for the menu since the first day of school, we didn't have it. We didn't, I mean, I still haven't seen the menu. Do we have a menu, Ms. Villas?
We do.
Okay, I mean, I don't know when we got it. Two, I mean, if you knew that you guys were gonna face shortages, I mean, you all should have started to prepare since the summer. Because like I said, I mean, it happened what, first, second week of school? I mean, to me, that's unacceptable. Because I agree, those kids go and they, you know, expect to have a good meal, to be able to have a good day of studying, of reading, or of whatever. And I feel that we failed them, okay? Well, you guys failed them. Because you guys are the food service company that we approved. And those ladies took a beating, and it wasn't their fault. They took a beating on social media.
Yes.
And it was not their fault. It's your all's fault. The food service manager that was there, it's her fault. But if the food service manager didn't have your support or your product or your menu, I mean, y'all expected to come up with a magic trick, and I don't think, you know, it's fair to her either.
I think, Madam, I appreciate your comments. I'm responsible for 75 districts across the country, and unfortunately, you know, we're having food shortages, not just child nutrition, you know, but you know, your grocery stores, restaurants, you know, lots of different industries are having shortages on products, and we've done our best to try to get as much product as we can from as many places as we can. So it's a nationwide issue, and you know, unfortunately, we're going to continue to have substitutions. I think what we're trying to express to the board is we're going to do a better job of making sure that those substitutions are appropriate and they're approved and governed in the right way. And, you know, again, apologize for it. And, you know, my commitment is we will handle the personnel side of the matter appropriately, and we'll also institute what the team has described as far as action plan goes, and I was inherently involved in developing those plans.
If I may, sir, so question number one, at the moment, there's no local district input into the menus that you guys create?
But typically there is, typically what they will do is they'll do, which will probably begin this coming month, surveys for students. We will have menu committees that involve students. A lot of times we'll involve teachers and administrators, and we'll do like menu tastings with students as well to get feedback. So there typically is feedback. We usually start those probably September, early October, because August is usually a short month and it's hard as everybody's starting school to gather a lot of that. But yes, so we'll be student input.
No, I'm not talking about the future, I'm talking about now, currently this year. Is there local input when your manager or your local on-site, the rep is making the menu, looking at what's gonna be cooked for our kids? There's no local input from the administration, from our district?
From the administration?
Well, you know, like, I don't know, do we have a head cook? We don't have
There is staff in the kitchen, absolutely, yes.
And
they are probably giving constant feedback on that as well.
It's not one of those, this is what we're gonna make and that's it. No.
It's based on student feedback, staff feedback. And like I said, you know, the first month of school, we don't hold those committees as often, just because we're trying to get going and it's a short month and everybody's busy. But yes, as we progress, even further, there'll be those committees as well. But as far as the menu starting out, staff is typically giving constant feedback to the team.
Second question, I know that at the high school, you guys give the kids options. I know that much. What about at the junior high?
So junior high, they will be getting options.
But right now?
Right now, I believe they're doing one.
One, okay, all right.
In the elementary schools, I believe they're being boxed up to speed them through the line. And I believe that Tomas, we were actually delivering lunches to.
So there's no options at the lower levels right now?
Not at this moment, because we're just boxing it up to get them through the line. That is something we definitely want to expand back to pre-COVID with the multiple options across the board.
Mr. Bonilla, if I may, I have brought it up as a concern at our last principals meeting, and it has been granted that I am getting a second choice for my student who started this week.
Because I asked my grandson.
For the first 2 weeks we didn't, but then I brought it up and I was given an explanation as to why it wasn't, and then I said if we could get it fixed. And starting this week, we did start getting a second choice.
Right, because he told me that he didn't eat that ham and cheese, 'cause he's not into ham and cheese. I don't know, I guess he must eat the rest of the stuff, because he's a big boy. But I asked him, why didn't you take the options, if they didn't give us an option? So, okay. Going back to that newsletter, I think that's a good idea, sir. In fact, that would be maybe a source for you guys to get commentaries, opinions from the parents as to what they would like to see in the menus. And I understand about USDA, okay? I know they have their regulations and things like that. You have to follow that. But I'm pretty sure that there's a lot of Chicano food out there that it's acceptable, and that can be served to our kids. I mean, aside from the hamburgers, I still love hamburgers, hot dogs, corn dogs, that kind of stuff. But that newsletter sounds a good idea.
Yeah, let's not just keep them to frozen stuff. I mean, they want to get a cooked meal as well, not just something that they're gonna throw in the microwave and feed it to them. But I will give you, I have.
Because they get that at home, right?
Do we have any more questions?
One more thing, Greg. And yes, I do ask them, I have 2 kids at high school, and they have been getting their choice, and I guess they've been getting cheeseburgers and fries all week, so my son has been eating cheeseburgers and fries all week. That's a choice, that's what he wants to eat. Thank you.
Well, thank you for coming, and I mean, like I said, from the beginning, I supported you, your company, and that's why we gave you a contract for this year, because, we're getting good services. I know sometimes, an incident like this can happen, but you have to understand, or we have to answer to the parents that are upset, and we have to kind of,
I have a question.
not turn on our social media, because, you see all these people crucifying the school district because of this, that. But I know, from the time that we have worked with you guys, you've done a good job for us and everything. And hopefully, on the feedback that we gave you and what you're telling us, I think, we can continue doing good for the students, are the ones that
I'm wondering what happened to the food truck?
flat. It's flat over there at the garage.
I think right now, we're trying to figure out all the COVID process and all this.
I'm just wondering where it's at.
It's at the high school.
It's at high school.
Once we get, better, kids coming together again, yeah, we're gonna have the trailer, we're gonna have all the different concepts as well.
Don't go through all.
I agree too, thank you for coming in, giving us an explanation. We almost had a student walk out because of that sandwich.
Monday, let me this over, if anybody has any,
They got our,
they might have a question.
appreciate it.
Well, thank you all very much again, we apologize, have a good night.
But this is, anybody has any questions, we'll flip it into the.
Okay.
Okay, we move on to 131 page, and I think we have the CrystalCity ISD 2001, 2002 employee handbook. I don't know if you all had time to read it. Anybody has any questions? You can address them to Ms. Brones. Any questions?
No,
Handbook?
pretty long.
Mr.
For
Mata?
the employee handbook, only what was legislatively mandated.
Handbook,
Yeah.
I had one
You can ask it.
on employees posting negative comments on Facebook. Can we add something to that?
And I will ask Mrs. Garcia to respond to that.
Very good, I can ask the attorneys, because this book was ready in July, we sent it up to the attorneys to revise every single thing. And keep in mind that the employee handbook comes straight from TASB, all we do is match it up with our policy. But we can send it back to our attorneys to add it.
What page are you on?
I agree 100% with Mr. Mata. I mean, sometimes our employees are the ones that are knocking us down, putting all those negative things on Facebook and everything. I feel that they're working for the school districts and they're gonna do that to us. We need to let them go.
Okay, so we'll speak to the attorneys to see what is considered protected speech, and we will add it to the handbook.
And if, whatever.
Can that include board members?
Whatever he, tells you, let us know.
Yes, sir.
And then, I mean, make sure you let the principals know so they can let their staff know.
Yes, sir. We will work on that.
That should come in our team of 8 board constraint.
But right now, I mean, I think, it's better get an opinion and then we can,
Yes.
get into that. I think that next.
Any questions, any other informational item? No? We're good?
Oh, on the boosters, Dina, did we ever get a response from the athletic booster?
The athletic booster, so the repairs that are needed are massive. And so what we've asked them to do with Mrs. Rovaso's permission in high school is while we work on we have to break down the wall and get to the actual leak. In the interim, we've allowed, Mrs. Rovaso has allowed the athletic booster club to use the visitors concession stand.
Okay, but they turn in their financial statements to you guys? I mean, I haven't seen them in a while.
I don't believe that they were not, they did not participate the first week.
Okay, but how about everything they did over the summer? The leagues and all that?
I haven't received anything. I believe they went straight to Ms. Lopez, to me. We'll follow up with that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, on informational items, I mean, we're okay with the handbooks.
Yes.
There were no questions on the appraisal district, business report. I mean, food service, we just heard from the people. Anything on Crystal City Police Department? Is he doing his job, principals? Booster Club, thank Ms. Guerrero, legal fees, any questions? The understanding of connections, and the last one, understanding with Chicano por la causa.
Chicanos por la casa, I didn't get a chance to look at that.
Huh?
Can somebody tell me what it is?
Mrs. Sendejo? Chicanos por la causa.
I'm sorry?
Can you give her a description of what this service is?
I'm sorry.
A memorandum of understanding for the Chicanos por la causa?
Oh, I'm not.
The special ed, the migrant? Okay, so this is a memo of understanding between the Texas Migrant Council.
Oh, Texas Migrant.
Right, and school district, and this is for us to extend services to, special ed services to the Texas Migrant Council. And but this is what they call themselves.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
And Connections, where's that at?
Connections is, I know they relocated, I don't know exactly where they're situated right now. Only issue that we had with the memorandum, as it existed, is that we added, remote conferencing as an option for services, since we're trying to limit the transmissibility.
Is that with the Camino Real?
That's with Camino Real, with Connections, with Family Services. We have that understanding with everybody, that they have to offer remote conferencing. If they're not, Camino Real is asking case managers on behalf of the parents to have their students find out so that they can receive services at the agency.
So we are accommodating.
Yes, we are.
You can see next to the Javelina Cafe. Just the counselor there. That's not them? They're not.
Briones,
Yes, sir.
the Chicanos por la Causa is actually located behind the Crystal Ballroom.
Yes, the Texas Migrant Council.
Yeah, that
Yes.
was the old.
It used to be that, yes.
Any more questions? So if not, then we're gonna be going into a closed session. The Board of Trustees will hold a closed session as authorized on the